Do you really think that Chat GPT can get a lot done for a product manager?
One thing that I tried out very lately and recently is about writing a product requirement document for a feature. So I think what I really was very impressed about it is that ChatGPT was able to get the intent of the query and frame it in a very niche and a clear way of delivering it directly to the engineers.
Hi everyone, this is your host Himanshu, and today we have our guest, Miss Sumithra Maran, who is a product manager at Microsoft. It's a big day. In this episode, you will get to know what it takes to become a product manager at Microsoft, how Sumithra shaped her journey of becoming a product manager, and lot more that how you as aspiring product manager or early product manager, how you should be thinking or doing things in order to reach at your final goal. Okay, I'm very excited. I'm very pumped to learn a lot from her. So, without further ado, welcome to the show, Sumitra.
Thank you, Himanshu, and thanks for having me here. I'm really excited to be joining this podcast today to share whatever I am aware of and my learnings, and I hope it'll benefit the audience.
Please tell me about your journey of becoming a product manager for the very first time.
So basically, I started as a software engineer at Visa, and I worked there for 6 years. And I moved from a completely developer role to a technical product manager role after say 4 years. And it was also not my full-time job. I was developer coding and developing technical solutions, as well as taking a product management as a side a thing for me to know if it really is my thing for me to actually make the transition. So that's how it all started. And why I thought about moving into product management is basically because when I started coding and developing tech solutions, I just felt in 1 or 2 years that it's probably not my thing in a long run, because I didn't really completely enjoy it of getting the bugs or any product releases up through. But what I really liked was talking to customers and why we are really building a solution. So that simple thought made me explore areas of what other domains can I pursue to like what I do, and product management was one such thing. And I just eventually transitioned into a product role at Visa.
Got it. So, not only building technical solution, but why this is happening, for whom we are doing. So, the entire idea of which user and what benefit led you to explore this area where you will be building the overall solution, not only the tech solution. What do you feel about product management at your previous stints versus a product management at Microsoft? What is the core difference over here?
I feel from my experience that different organizations have different definitions of a product manager role. Just to give you an example, that when I was working in Visa, the product manager role that I did was to dive deep into technical solutions and participate in design discussions of how we are actually delivering the product. But to compare it with Microsoft, it's more about the product vision and why we are doing this, and if it's really going to benefit the organization as a whole, and leave the tech implementations part separately. So yeah, there are unique differences, and it comes with the where you are and what you're doing at any point of time is what I feel.
How challenging that was for you to transition internally within Visa from senior developer to finally a product manager? How was that transition?
Yeah, I think it's a very long story, but I'll try to keep it short. It was definitely not easy because I have a completely different graduation in computer science, and I've been coding and building products and not working with partners or anyone in my journey. But I think I had a lot of resiliency in trying out. And reaching out to people basically to tell them that although I come from a complete tech environment, and this is why I want to move into product management, and I'm ready to do the extra work to get there, is what I put out myself to a lot of folks whom I know at Visa, and I networked internally in Visa to get that opportunity for me. Because I know a lot of people whom I spoke to in general about product management always ask me this question as to how difficult was it for you to move from a tech role to a product management role without taking the conventional route. So when I say conventional route is basically you do an engineering, you get your MBA, and then you will be able to land in a product management role. But for me, it was a different one. Like I do have a tech background, but no MBA, and how did I move? So I think the key for me was to network to people and be honest and transparent and tell them that this is why I'm wanting to move towards product management, and I'm ready to put in the effort. And it takes a lot of resiliency and perseverance to keep sticking to wanting to move there. It might or might not turn out. That's the risk factor involved in that. But I think, yeah, networking was the key for me to get people to believe in me and give me a project that I could work on. And eventually I could gain the experience from there and carve the path out from there.
Hmm. Talking to people and convincing them that you can do the job of a product manager must be really tough. Sumitra, I actually wanted to know interesting story at Visa, which eventually helped you to pursue this career finally.
So that's actually a good question because, like I said, when I started doing a lot of side projects, shadowing the different product managers at Visa, initially I got a lot of tech intensive projects because I came from a technical background. And one thing that I had to take a shot was, since I have built a muscle over this technical area, helping in a tech project would be more valuable for both of us, like for me to build the product acumen and for them to benefit from my tech experience. But when I was doing these projects, I felt over a period of time I got a very similar experience to what I was already working, because in my technical role also I worked with PMs to understand why they're building it and sort of nitty-gritty details. But when I started wanting to build the product acumen and contributing from my strength for it, I just somewhere felt that it's probably not the product experience that I envisioned to get, or it's probably not helping me to make the decision that I really want to go about. So that's when I happened to meet the real time payments uh, head of India. I think it's probably by things come right at the right time sort of thing. So he happened to visit Bangalore, and I just thought that it's quite easy to relate to a real time payments product that you're building, because digital world in India was getting booming at that point of time. GPay was getting used prevalently, phone pay, and a lot of payment apps like that was coming in India, and it was also being launched. There is an app called mVisa, which was getting launched by Visa for the Indian and the APAC markets in general. So it was quite easy for me to relate to the product, what it really needs to bring to the outside world. And that's when I wanted to try my hands doing a product feature work for that particular product. I didn't know whether I was really there to contribute to a live product that's getting built out of APAC region, whether I really can be able to contribute to a product feature. So I just, like I said, I spoke to different people and told them that maybe I could take a very small minor feature in a payment app that you're building, because I could understand that if I'm a user and you are the product person who's building this product for me, and you just want to make sure that the payment that I'm doing through your app goes through successfully and gives me the end result. So it's as simple as a very prototyping that it's easily understandable to me. So I just want to get more deeply involved and see how I can contribute. So I worked in that product for only 45 days, I should say this. But the experience that I got working on building that QR code for making a payment transaction go through in the Visa gateway was phenomenal for me in general. Because from outside, I just thought only about a QR code appearing on your mobile app, but it's just not only that. So you have different markets, you have different regulations that you meet in a market for launching a payment app, because payment comes with a lot of sensitivity and personal data that you're storing. So that was the time that I realized that yes, you're launching a mobile app for payments, but when you are a product feature owner, even if it is a very small part of it, you get to be the user, you get to be the producer of the app, you also get to know who are the third parties involved in actually getting that app launched to production and how it gets widely used. So I think at that point of time, I really believe that I could become a good product manager because I was able to deliver it in a 45 days sprint because it was really interesting for me. And I was so hooked on to getting that product feature released and being an owner of it by working with different stakeholders. So that was a cracking moment for me that yes, this is what I really want to do. And however difficult the path is going to be, I should really try and pursue it.
I think amazing story. That is only how you truly discovered that this is going to give me more such projects in the future, and I'll be able to create the similar kind of impact in other projects as well.
Yeah, I think so. You made a very good point. Impact. So when you're just early in your career, one thing I generally feel is it's about what you're building, what you're delivering, what your manager says, or some appreciation that you in general get at work. But I think as you grow up the ladder, you really want to know like what is the impact you're really bringing to the organization. Like what is it, the work that you're doing on a day-to-day basis? How is it really being valuable or used by uh, uh, people rather than just uh, delivering stuff as a part of your 9 to 5 job. So I think impact is very good. I mean, it's the right spot on word that everyone aspires to bring in once they start growing up the ladder, I feel.
Tell me, at this point of time, you're already working in one of the best companies in the world in the tech industry. What you are trying to learn at this point of juncture?
Well, I think the learning curve is always very steep, whether you're a product manager or in any technical role, be it whatever. But I think for me personally, at this point of time, if you ask about learning, I wanted to learn firstly about what are the different aspects of um, uh, being a product manager in itself. Because what I learned through my experience working in Microsoft is that a product manager does not only build stuff, gets it delivered to the customers. There are a lot of aspects involved like how do you build a product which has good market value, how it benefits your organization, what are different financial models that you can bring in. When I say financial models, is about revenue generating, pricing for a product. How can you make a product? How can you make the customers pay for your product? So there are like different sort of things that come into picture when you're building a product. And I feel pricing and monetization of a product is something that it's a totally gray market for me. And I feel that one day at a time, I need to pick up and understand the different things involved and try to build my muscle over even a very small aspect of product management. So that's how I am looking at my learning curve. And I also have this simple rule that in a day-to-day life, if I feel that I'm lacking a skill when I'm participating in meetings, when I'm talking to folks, when I don't understand something, I go back home and realize that this is my weak area. I need to learn something about it the next time I have a similar conversation and try to spend some time learning about it. So when you ask me like what's my learning curve, I just try to understand my weakness, spend some time to improve my knowledge over it, and I feel that on a daily basis when I keep investing in an area which is great for me, I get better. So at this point, it's about learning about the pricing and monetization aspects of product management, and my learning curve goes like this.
Got it. So you're saying basically now you are good with product delivery part of it, that you can think of a product solution, you can deliver it, but post that, which is the entire go-to-market strategy for the highest adoption, activation, retention, you wanted to work on the growth side of it. That's what you wanted to. As I tried GPT, I have my reservations at how accurate or how great it is, but I wanted to ask, do you really think that Chat GPT can get a lot done for a product manager?
I have tried a couple of features that what Chat GPT can do for the product manager tasks, and one thing that I tried out very lately and recently is about writing a product requirement document for a feature. So I think what I really was very impressed about it is that Chat GPT was able to get the intent of the query and frame it in a very niche and a clear way of delivering it directly to the engineers. It does not have concrete and precise details of every execution, but it has an intent of initial PRE document, how it should look like, and how it's likely to evolve based on inputs. So I think what I really liked about is the intent of delivering an initial PRE document that ChatGPT was able to capture exactly.
ChatGPT can write a PRD, and what other than PRD, like product managers can use ChatGPT for?
I think if you want to make some updates, because in my day-to-day job as a PM, working in big tech companies, there are a good number of status update meetings that I have to be a part of, exit reporting. So if I want to make a pitch, or if I want to propose a delay in something that I failed to deliver, and I say to ChatGPT that this is what I want to convey to the audience, since it's really good at capturing the intent behind it. The write up for uh, uh, telling some difficult things to the leadership is very well written. Because just to tell you an example that I tried about how do I tell the sales team I cannot ship this particular feature because during development it had some bugs. So I could be convinced if I'm the sales guy with the reply that I got from ChatGPT. I personally felt that I could be convinced with the actual nuances the answer has, and it was like a pretty convincing answer for a salesperson to agree. So that's why I thought that the intent part capturing is makes this product really cool.
Expanding the scope of our mind. If we are thinking something which is not possible, but getting the same understanding from ChatGPT, which the other team member is saying, and also can help us to get convinced and act into that right direction. Very
Yeah.
insightful understanding. Like as you mentioned, you are learning about the growth side and all the new things which are coming. I want to understand how you are learning them and what are you doing to become 1% better PM almost every day.
I don't have any specific formula or a routine that I've set for myself to actually do it. But whenever I find opportunities and whenever I find ideas or things to learn, I basically stick to this 3 to 5 minute articles that can talk about anyone's experience, or even a podcast that I can listen to, or anything that's available free of source that can in less time, if I can learn something that can stick to my mind, is something that I'm sticking to at this point of time to learn what I want to learn. So there's no routine that I have set for myself, but I just look up on articles which if I want to learn about pricing, I just read an article for a couple of days, understand about it, or listen to a podcast, or follow people on Twitter who writes about product growth, or on LinkedIn. There's like a lot of tons of available resources. It's available for PMing especially. So I follow people whose ideas have personally benefited me, and I try to stick and implement it and see. So that's how my path to becoming 1% PM is going on so far. To solve problems and to improve your product thinking. So your becoming 1% PM is like the spot on article anybody should go and read and practice, so that they really benefit out of it.
Like obviously you have done ton of work already into this PMing space. What is product management according to you?
Yeah, if I have to put it in simple words, for me, product management is building stuffs that's really valuable for organization and for customers. The rest will follow. So when you know that you really want to build stuffs for benefiting people and adding value, I think the rest of the journey will easily come by.
Okay. Okay. And What do you think about what are the traits of a great product manager?
I wish I could have these traits, but to me personally, what's very impressive when I talk to seasoned PMs or any product manager leaders are the way they communicate with the audience, the way they deliver a particular strategy or think about a problem to solve from a customer and a product perspective, and also basically in short, it's the communication with different stakeholders about the product or about the strategy or about influencing the people around. So I think communication is an important trait to have as a product manager. So to me, a very important one is that.
Hmm. One of the very important skill of a product manager. There are so many, but this is one, according to you, is the most important one out of all the skills of a great product manager.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay. Tell us something about your work, like what you are working on these days in Microsoft.
So at Microsoft, right now I'm working with the Microsoft Teams product, and I'm managing a data resiliency solution that we are building as a part of Teams Org for our customers. So, in simple terms, it's basically how do you move a customer's data uh, from a different region into the local region where the customers are built at. So this is the simple problem that we are trying to solve, and due to different regulations that's being brought at different governments, how can Microsoft help the customers to make this data migration happen? So that's the product that I am working at, and it's currently looked at from a point of monetization perspective, how we could help the customers as well as help the organization.
Hmm. Interesting and very complex product. Seems like security is a big thing, and as the world is becoming more digital, the cyber security and data security will be of the prime importance. What are product nuances you wanted like any PM to understand who is working into the security side?
So, yes, security and maintaining your data in a private a cloud or a private a space is very important. But I think the nuances of this product basically comes from a point of the willingness of the customers. So,
Hmm.
there is a strictness in terms of all enterprise organizations need to adhere to this data principles of maintaining their privacy of the data, but it also comes with provisioning factors of what are the benefits that we as an organization gives to the customers for doing this activity, because there are tons of data resilience tools that's available in the market, who does the same role of this particular solution that Microsoft is offering to the customers. So how do we really make it beneficial for the customers who are already using Microsoft products to also buy this add-on that makes their life easier. So, in my experience, selling a value-added service in general very hard than launching a product that has a pricing associated with it. So, how do you influence your customers to buy the product, which is an add-on to the existing product that you're selling, and
Hmm.
also give them the benefits that they are looking for, and also benefit the organization is the space that adds complexity to this product that we are building at this point in time.
Hmm. So there are so many people who want to work at Microsoft. Do tell us about what is the interview process at Microsoft looks like for a PM.
So I'm not going to tell anything very new that's not available in Google because it's all out there. But I'm just going to give a brief of what a general loop interview is like, and what are some of the things from my experience that any aspiring PM who wants to come into Microsoft can work on. So basically, it's a 4 to 5 round interview process, which touch bases on who you are in general, what's your background like, what's your story like, and how you're a better fit or a right fit to Microsoft. That's one. And the other aspects of a PM interview are estimation, analytical, and technical rounds that a product manager needs to go through. So estimation questions are something defining success and metric for a product feature, or talk about numbers basically. So those will be the estimation round kind of questions, and the strategical questions will be testing the candidate on their ability to design something from scratch, and how do they really get in to the nitty gritty of the next level details. So that's
Mm.
something that's been tested in the strategical round questions. And technical questions is basically, I mean, the reason behind this technical interview that happens is the product managers need to interact with their engineers and be a part of the world that engineers are trying to solve. So it's important for a PM to understand technical jargons and how things evolve at a high level, or how things work from a technical perspective. So I think that common understanding for a PM to know the high level technical details would all be tested in the technical round. So these are three major rounds, and knowing that you are a right fit for the organization and the organization is also the right fit for you would be another round that goes into the entire four loop interview process. And the fifth one will be a hiring manager round, which is totally from a HR perspective. But
Oh.
yeah, to talk about different tons of resources, how do you prepare for these interviews? It's all out in Google. So yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Do you want to highlight what are the few mistakes candidates make generally because of which they are not able to go through?
So, from my personal experience, what I generally feel is that when a product problem at a high level is given to the candidate, including myself, we tend to jump into skipping a few steps of developing a product and getting into what is the real crux of solving the problem. Like, for example, if I have to talk about design a parking lot. So, during the interview, what generally happens is that candidates tend to jump into how many cars are going to be in the parking lot, or are we trying to have different kind of vehicles, or like what's the size of vehicles, and a lot of those questions jump into it. But I think when you start thinking about a problem, it should be from the basics of where, why, uh, whom are we doing it for, which region are we building in. So these kind of basics needs to be thought through when you're trying and explaining this problem to the interviewer, and then develop over it. So what benefit approaching a problem like this gives you is that the interviewer will be able to know your entire thought process, and how you're able to think about a problem from the basics to the nuances end to end. So that's kind of an impressive way to tackle an interview question, because there is no right and wrong answers. So how do you really get that impression right?
Sorted, noted. I think jumping on the conclusion, which people generally makes, if they try to break it down and they try to show the structure, they are better compared to the lot bigger audience. One more thing, at Microsoft, obviously, how big is the product team, engineering team, design team, analytics team, and any other team? And have you seen any difference compared to Visa or Ola Electric, how the product development happens at Microsoft?
I think the team sizes and how each team operates differs inside Microsoft itself in general. So it's
Yeah.
completely different between different organizations. So the way the product development here works is that it's tightly coupled between design, product, and the engineering team. There is no separate QA or testing team that's available. So it's just these three big teams that work together for developing a product. And the PM teams work hand in hand with the design and engineers. We have about, on an average, I think 8 to 10 people working in an engineering team. That's like a common thing that's across Microsoft to deliver any product. And the PMs also are like, they're comparatively thin when come to the size of an engineering team. So we have about on an average 2 to 4 PMs working on a product, I can say. And Visa is a completely different organization. So we had separate QA, we had separate development side, and we had one PM working for the entire product. We're all technical product managers at Visa. So it's different between different organizations, and I think it's also based on what is really required for the product at that point of time. That's how the teams get spanned. But I think in general, if you have to have a generic one, it's between PM engineering and design that is in Microsoft.
Okay, awesome. So I think we have talked about a lot. I wanted to have a little bit more fun time. So it's a rapid fire time for us. Only funny answers are allowed.
Okay. It's quite
This,
hard, but yeah, I'll try.
so this is a question that अगर पीएम ना होते तो क्या होते?
Become a journalist. Uh-huh.
Journalist. Nice.
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
journalist?
Because I always had this dream of publishing articles on Hindu when I was a child. So I thought maybe I would have pursued that if not for an engineer if I had become.
I'm expecting basically, I'm hoping to see a lot of your articles, not in Hindu, maybe start in the starting, but somewhere else, maybe on LinkedIn. So let's see that.
Start there, yeah.
So you're already at Microsoft. What are the few companies you still aspire to work at?
Well, I would probably start looking at Google, but for now, I don't have anything specific in mind. Maybe Google or Facebook that I'll move into big techs for sure.
Okay. And what's your perspective towards startup or big tech?
Yeah, it's big tech. Startups, I'm not sure, but yeah, if anything exciting that comes on the way, maybe I could try startups as well.
Okay. You have offer from three companies, all same roles, everything same. Then you have to decline one offer, accept one, and put offer on hold for one. Okay. So one you have is Google, one you have is Figma, third you have Meta.
I think I'll decline Meta. I'll accept Google. Figma will be on hold because I have a dilemma between choosing Google and Figma, so I'll keep it on hold and accept Google.
Okay. Okay. And if Google withdraw the offer in the last minute, the Figma will win.
Yes, the Figma
O-
win.
Okay. Okay. So,
And the reason for this is to force myself to change from big tech. So yeah.
hmm, hmm. So, one book you really love.
There are a lot of books, but I think Ikigai is a book that it's very close to my heart. Like whenever I read that book, it gives me a lot of joy. So I would recommend that to people.
Okay. And one movie you love to watch again and again.
Intern.
Intern.
Intern is the movie. Yeah.
What was the actress name that shopper uh,
Anna Hathaway.
Anna Hathaway? Yes.
Uh, I think
Intern.
it's a pretty old movie, but it's a classic one.
Yeah, yeah, I have seen that.
Proper-
Awesome, Sumitra. It was really nice speaking to you, and this was a very much fun chat. Uh, the, uh, I learned about the so many nitty-gritties about the product development at Microsoft and how somebody can approach uh, applying for a product manager role at Microsoft. Also, how you shape the journey and how people should be thinking coming from a software developer background. They should be thinking about it. So it was a lovely, lovely chat with you. Is there anyone you want to say thank you for your career?
I would like to definitely thank my parents because they've always given me the freedom to choose whatever I want at any point of time in my life. So that's something that's gotten me so far, I think. So it's just my parents that I'm always thankful for. And I would also really like to tell this that what really got me to do this podcast with you is because I feel that you're in general wanting to give back to the community. So whatever you learn, you try to help others. That's a wonderful trait to have, not just product management world as such, but you're trying to help other people grow as well. So that's really very impressive, and that's something that I learned from you of being friends with you for so long, and it's really good that you're doing this, Himanshu. And thank you so much for having me on this podcast.
Thank you for your kind words. Really appreciate. Is how people can reach out to you.
I think LinkedIn, I usually respond to 98% of my messages on LinkedIn. Maybe 2% it just goes off, but LinkedIn is the way to reach out to me if on any help. And I try my best to get back to people there.
Awesome, awesome. So to all the guys who are basically listening this episode. And I most recommend you to speak to Sumithra if you are struggling to navigate from your software career to a product management career, and you want any kind of advice how you can plan for or prepare for a product manager role at Microsoft. Here is a chance for you. Do ping Sumithra on LinkedIn. And thank you so much for watching this episode. If you like this content, do hit subscribe, like, and put a comment that what we can improve upon. And bye bye. See you in the next episode.